What's going on YouTube? This is ParkerLad88 coming at you with another video, and in this video we have a revised character breakdown for Udonna. Similar to my other character breakdowns, we're going to be running through the move list, doing some combos, and then I'm going to talk about a game plan for Udonna, so let's go ahead and get started. So if you guys like what you see in today's video, consider checking out my social media links. You can check me out on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/ParkerLad88. You can follow me on X at ParkerLad2. Join the Whoosh Clan if you have Discord. With your entry into the Whoosh Clan will grow ever stronger. And if you want to do just a little bit more to support me, consider checking out my Cash App. Links will all be in the description. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. And we'll get started with mobility. When it comes to mobility, I would say that Udonna is slightly above average. You can see that with her forwards and backwards walking animations, she does have a built-in run to it. So if this is your first fighting video game, you can see you have a little bit of accessible speed right off the bat just by pressing the forward button. Pressing back, you can see she has a pretty average backwards walking animation. Dashes are pretty average. The startup isn't too slow. The amount of distance that she covers isn't too great. You can see that it takes me about 3 dashes to either move full screen for my opponent or to get right next to my opponent. She can wave dash, as you can see right here, and then she can also attack dash, as you can see right here. And I think this is her preferred method of mobility. You can see she clips along at a nice pace, so this would be something I would suggest to you to get used to if you are playing Udonna. Moving into jumps, her jumps are, as you can see, pretty average across the board. Not too floaty, not too shallow, which is also applied to her dash jumps as well. From about full screen, she can land right next to the opponent, which works out very well with her air heavy, as you can see right there. So you might be wondering to yourself, where does the slightly above portion of her mobility come into? And that comes in the form of her air special, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But being able to combine this with her natural jumps, being able to combine this with her dash jumps, means that her air mobility is slightly varied, which means that it's not going to be that easy for your opponent to anti-air you. And as you can see here, this does lead to full screen opportunities as far as comboing. So, slightly above average mobility for Udonna. Moving into normalist attacks, we have standing light. We have crouching light, which you can rapid fire. Good for combos, good for recognizing and block strings. We have standing medium. Crouching medium, which is your launcher. Standing heavy. And crouching heavy, which is your sweep. Moving into aerial-based attacks, we have air light. We have air medium. Now, air medium is a cross-up, but it is a really bad cross-up. It's really hard to actually hit, but I was actually able to get it there. And then we have air heavy. Now, Udonna does not have any command normals that I am aware of. If you guys find something, please let me know. Now, when it comes to buttons you're going to be using the most with Udonna, it's going to be far and away your air heavy if you did not figure it out. You do not have to be accurate with this at all. Like, whether it hits in the front, whether it hits in the back, it does not matter. It's your cross-up, it's your jump-in, it is your everything. It's pretty much the only button you're going to be using with Udonna. Udonna doesn't really have a lot of other buttons in her employ. Like, the range on her other buttons isn't particularly great. I like standing heavy, but the thing I don't like about standing heavy is the fact that you have to go straight into a special move from this, and I don't really like this in terms of visualizing, oh, am I safe in a block string, or can I go for combos? I do not think that this move is it. So once again, air heavy, it's going to be that go-to move for you when it comes to Udonna. Alright, let's go ahead and move into throw. We have back throw, which you actually can get combos from. We have EX. And then we have super. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Udonna's EX here for a second. You can see that her EX is actually very unique compared to some other characters, where not only do you have the invincibility and you get the damage, but it also does a little something extra. So while Udonna's EX actually has very poor range, when you do hit somebody with it, in addition to doing a ton of damage, you can see that she spawns these ice orby thingies, which are really handy when it comes to applying pressure to your opponent, and also good for zoning opportunities as well. So that's actually a pretty cool feature of Udonna's EX. Let's go ahead and talk about Udonna's super now. Where it does lack in range, what's really neat about this is that it does put your opponent in a crumpled state, which you then can follow up with for combos. So do keep that in mind. This actually makes it pretty decent. Moving into special moves, we're going to start with Udonna's neutral special, and that is going to be Ice Ball. So as you can see, whenever you connect with the ice ball, it does freeze the opponent in place, which gives you plenty of time to follow it with combo opportunities. You do only get one ice ball. As you can see, if you try to freeze them again, it'll put them into this flip out frozen state, which you can actually use to your advantage in order to set up some resets. But you only get this one freeze when it comes to initial combos and whatnot. One neat property about the ice ball is that it actually does bounce. So you do have to be aware of that if you are the opponent. It has deceptive range in that way, which you can follow with combos from that distance, as you can see, in combination with Udonna's speed. Pretty basic projectile, as you can see, but it has a really big payoff. And that's really all there is to talk about when it comes to Ice Ball. Moving into Udonna's next special move, we have Forward Special, and that is going to be her Ice Pillars. As you can see, her Ice Pillars hit up to 3 times and put the opponent in a reverse launcher state, which is where they fling themselves towards you, which she can actually follow up with combos with afterwards. It does have a decent amount of projectile durability. I'm going to get Eric to kind of help me out here. Alright, let's try that again. As you can see, pretty decent projectile durability there. I'm also going to try and demonstrate this part as well. You can actually use it to block beam, sort of, kind of. It's very impractical, but let me see if I can set this up for you guys. See, as you can see. I know it didn't actually absorb all the damage there, but it can kind of block beams. Erica's really the only character in this game that actually has a legitimate beam, but if you time it right, you can actually use it to absorb some of that beam damage. It's not very practical just because the startup on it is so slow, but hey, it's just a little interesting thing, a little interesting tidbit for you guys. You really don't use this move too much outside of combos just because of the slow startup on it. It doesn't have a whole lot of range. It's not that great in block strings also, just because Udonna recovers slightly after the opponent does. Let me see if I can set this up for you guys. Alright, we're going to go always guard. We're going to go jump. Alright, see. As you can see, right there. I'm going to try and show it again. You can see Eric can still jump right afterwards. Eric can still jump after he recovers from the block stun. Udonna recovers slightly afterwards, so that is something that you can do to let you know how much an advantage or how much of a disadvantage you are at when it comes to certain moves. So in that regard, once again, not the greatest in terms of block strings either, just because you can see that Udonna is slightly negative on that, so this move doesn't really have a whole lot of utility outside of combos. Moving into Udonna's next special move, we have Back Special, her Ice Shield. When you press Back Special, you will see that Udonna will spawn these orbiting projectiles around her, which you can store up to 2 at a time. They will hover around her for a set period of time before they fire off towards the opponent. You'll have one that goes high and one that goes low, and this also applies to in the air as well. You can see one will fire off lower than the other. This is one of Udonna's more underutilized tools and really actually benefits her in combination with her zoning projectiles and also establishing pressure against the opponent as well. It really makes it hard for your opponent to do things when you actually have these ice projectiles out once you want to establish some kind of pressure against your opponent. One other neat property about this is the utility that it has in combination with other characters. Like this, you can see that the projectiles will actually hover in place around where Udonna was, which can be very tricky when it comes to cross-ups. Also, your opponent can't get free hits on you because they have to worry about the projectiles hitting from the other side because they come in a staggered fashion like that, which makes them all the more better, which can also work out in your favor in terms of getting combos off of basically lulling your opponent to a false insecurity. It's like, oh, I can attack him? No, you really can't, because you get hit just like that, and then all of a sudden you're eating a combo from your other opponent. So it's actually a very tricky move that way, and a very underutilized move in that way as well. But definitely opens up a lot of possibilities if you can combine this with Udonna's other projectiles, other special moves. Moving into Udonna's final special move, we have Air Special, her Hail. As you can see, whenever you press Air Special, she will launch 3 projectiles downwards towards the opponent, and the final hit will actually cause a ground bounce. This is actually really convenient for combo follows, as you can see right there. It makes for some pretty easy conversions. One other interesting property about this is that it actually does carry her momentum, as you can see here. This can actually make anti-airing Udonna pretty difficult because she has access to regular jumps, and then she has something that can also alter how long she stays in the air, so it can make it pretty tricky to anti-air her. This is widely Udonna's most used special move for a number of reasons. As you can see, look at all of this coverage of space that she has. Not only does it fire down at an aggressive angle, but she has all of this coverage of space. And then if she does hit you with the final hit leading to a ground pound, she can get a really easy combo off of it. So Udonna is one of those very rare breed of characters where whenever she does jump in, she doesn't actually have to commit. She doesn't have to be anywhere near you, so she doesn't have to really fear being anti-aired by you. And if she actually hits with it, that she gets a full combo, so you get a lot of good things from that. This, in combination with other assists as well, can lead to some very oppressive zoning as well in combination with those assists. But this move also has one other very, very good property about it, in that it actually can be safe if you miss your opponent. One of the biggest weaknesses of this move that you have to learn to exploit when you're fighting against Udonna is being able to dash under the opponent at the right time. If you get a situation where all the hits whiff, kind of like this, which you can do if you're just, willy-nilly throwing this out and not paying attention to where you're doing it, you can find a situation where your opponent can get under you and attack you. But the thing is, with Udonna, because this move is so safe, you can actually throw out an EX right afterwards. So if your opponent doesn't time it just ever so perfectly, then you're going to get bopped by EX. And I'm actually going to see if I can get my friend other Udonna to actually help me out with this. And there you go. As you can see, I tried to actually press a button, and I really wanted to use standing heavy just to give you guys a really good visual indicator of how you can still EX after doing the hail. So because of how unsafe hail looks, you'll be very tempted to press a ground button in order to maximize your combo damage if you're fighting against Udonna, but just make sure that you are aware of the Udonna's meter, and make sure you're very aware of your timing, because if you don't do it with the strictest of timing, you will eat that EX and you'll be back in the same situation. And you can see she'll have those 2 extra orbiting projectiles to go with it. So hail, very, very good tool for Udonna. And that'll do it for all of Udonna's special moves. Now that we're done going through special moves, let's go ahead and move on to assists. And for Udonna, her assist is going to be her Ice Ball. Now, unlike some other projectile assists, which are okay at best, Udonna's Ice Ball assist is actually kind of a cut above, and it's strictly because of that freeze. That is just something the opponent has to be even more wary about compared to other projectiles, because while you might get a situation where your opponent gets a hit on you, and the other projectile might trade with you, like, for something like reuse assist, right? This one, you have to worry about that freeze, and not only does the opponent have all the time in the world to confirm, but then they can also get full combo from that as well. And Udonna's assist doesn't have like all the range in the world, right? Compared to some other projectile assists as I demonstrated. But that freeze is something that your opponent definitely has to be wary of, so you definitely cannot go wrong having Udonna's assist on your side. Now that we're done going through assists, let's go ahead and move on to combos. We'll start with auto combo number 1 with lights, auto combo number 2 with mediums, and auto combo number 3 with heavies. Now, per tradition, I'll be starting off by doing the fully completed combo with number notation. For those of you who are more experienced at the game and just want to see what the inputs are and what the combos look like, that'll be for you. But for those of you who enjoy my normal combo structure of how I break down combos, we'll still be doing that as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our first combo. So for our first intermediate combo, we're going to start with our air heavy. We'll then transition into a standing medium, standing heavy, into neutral special. We'll have enough time to dash up to our opponent. We'll do a standing medium into a crouching medium for launcher. From there, we will do a rejump combo of a staggered air light medium. Light on the way up, medium on the way down. We'll rejump and do it again. Just like that. By this point, we should be pretty close to the corner. Once we land on the ground, we'll do another standing medium into launcher. Then we'll do another staggered air light medium. But unlike the first launcher where we did 2 reps of the staggered air light medium rejump combo, we'll do a staggered air light medium into a staggered air light heavy. After that, once we land on the ground, we'll do medium auto combo, which will put them into a hard knockdown state. We'll pick them up off the ground with our forward special. We will wait and then do another medium auto combo. So you'll get something that looks like this. Just like that. Now, after you do that second medium auto combo, you'll then go into super. You'll have enough time after the crumple state from the super to dash up and do an EX. And those should be all the parts and pieces for this intermediate combo. The only part you really need to practice, because this combo is pretty straightforward, the only thing you really need to practice is if you've never done a rejump combo before, doing those staggered air light mediums and staggered air light heavies. Just remember to do your lights on the way up and your mediums on the way down. And if you're able to do that, the rest of the combo should not be any trouble at all. Now, this is not a full screen combo, because if I were to try to do this full screen, let me see if I can set this up. You can see how far it knocks the opponent away after doing that medium auto combo. You can adjust, of course. You could probably do something like after this, you could probably just do medium into heavy, and then from there go into super, and then follow it with the EX. That'd probably be the only difference, but you wouldn't be able to get that pickup, that same pickup that you would in the corner. But anyway, that is all the parts and pieces to this intermediate combo. Let's start talking about our more advanced combos now. When it comes to comboing with Udonna, there aren't a whole lot of things you need to know how to combo from, but let's talk about a couple things. We need to learn how to combo from Hail. We're gonna have to learn how to combo from Ice Ball, and of course, back throw. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our first bread and butter combo.
Magical source, mystic force.
Alright, let's go ahead and start breaking down this bread and butter combo for Udonna. As you guys can see, this was a full screen conversion, so let's go ahead and go through the individual parts. First, we'll start with our air heavy. We'll move into a standing medium, standing heavy, into ice ball. This part is not any different from the intermediate combo. Here's where things actually get a little tricky. Once you recover from doing ice ball, you have to do 2 dashes, just like this. So if you aren't used to dashing with the attack buttons, just make sure you're getting used to that. And this will be the first part that you want to practice. You'll want to do a dash, and then another dash into medium. So like this. You want to get used to that, because you can actually cancel attacks out of buttons, right? So you'll want to get used to tap, tap, and then as soon as you do that second dash, medium. And you have to do all of that after you recover from Ice Ball. Because you need that extra distance that you push the opponent in order to get all the way closer to the corner. So that'll be the first part that you want to practice. After that, it once again proceeds as the intermediate combo does, to a certain extent. We're practicing those rejumps. Into standing medium, crouching medium again for that second launcher. But as opposed to the intermediate combo where we did air light medium into air light heavy, we're going to do air light medium into air light medium special, because once again, we need Udonna to carry that momentum to push her ever closer towards the corner. And you'll do it in a quick session. Just like that. If you stagger it in the same way, then then the hail will whiff and you won't be able to get that ground bounce. So that's an example of something that can happen. So you have to be really quick about it. Now, once you land back on the ground, unlike the intermediate combo, we'll do standing medium into standing heavy, and then we'll have time to recover into a medium auto combo. So, taking it from hail, that's what you should have. Now, at this point, you'll be pretty close to the corner, right? But we're not quite all the way there. Well, they will be, but you won't be. So you'll have to do dash up forward special. Oh, let me try it again. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. You'll have to dash up and do forward special. You don't have to do it won't be that part actually won't be that hard, but it'll still be something that you'll have to get used to just because you want to make sure you're close enough to the corner. Now, at this point, your juggle limit meter will be maxed out. The only thing that we'll have left to do is to do our standing heavy. But we don't want all 3 hits to hit, because if all 3 hits hit, the opponent will flip out. So as soon as you hit that standing heavy, you'll have the first 2 hits hit, and then go into super.
Light fire. Magical source, mystic force.
So that's what you'll want. Now at this point, you'll be doing this while you're all the way in the corner, and this is where the next difficult part of this combo kind of sets up. So we talked about the double dash. That was the first part. You could argue that doing the standing medium into standing heavy and then into medium auto combo would be a little tricky as well, so I might throw that one in there. But this is the final part you'll have to do. Now, after you see them go into the crumple state, you'll have to do a full dash, then you'll go into standing light, standing medium, or sorry, you'll have to go into standing light, crouching light, standing medium, standing heavy, EX. Now that series is the tough part, but timing the dash after the crumple state and then canceling that into the standing light, that's going to be the difficult part. So taking it from super.
Magical source, mystic force.
Yeah, you can see I didn't get that time. Let's try one more time.
Light fire. Magical source, mystic force.
This is kind of weird to explain, because after you see the crumple state, yes, there's a tight window there, but when you do the dash, you have to trust yourself. Let the whole dash finish before you do that standing light, because if you do it too soon, if you do the standing light too soon, you won't cover all the distance that you need to in order to get that hit to connect, in order to get that standing light to connect. You have to make sure that full dash is completed before you do that standing light. And then you'll be able to do the rest of the parts. So, once again, things you'll want to practice. Double dash after the ice wall. Into that standing medium while about to combo. The next thing you'll want to practice is after you do hail, you'll want to do standing medium into standing heavy, and then into the medium auto combo. Then the last part you'll want to practice is after you do super. That full dash into standing light. And those will be all the parts that you will be practicing for this combo. And if you're able to do all those parts, you should have something that kind of looks like this.
Light fire. Magical source, mystic force.
Alright, let's go ahead and move on to our next combo.
Light fire. Magical source, mystic force.
Alright, let's go ahead and start breaking down this combo. This is an example of something that you can do off of just raw ice ball. I wanted to go based off of the opponent being in the air, just because I think it's a practical situation once you can freeze someone. But whether you're just doing a raw launcher, whether you're taking it from standing medium, crouching medium for the launcher after doing ice ball, the combo is pretty much exactly the same as the bread and butter combo that you would do. There's only one difference. Once we actually get into the corner, this is a corner only thing that you would be able to do. If you're not in the corner, you're just going to have to make up something else based off of kind of what you learned from this tutorial. But anyway, you'll set this up from a ground bounce. Now whether that's from the air special, or whether this is just from air heavy, the important part is that you're doing the ground bounce. And here is what you're going to do. Since we don't have all the hits in the beginning, we can do this. We'll do standing medium, standing heavy. We'll then link that into another standing medium, standing heavy. We will then do a crouching light into medium auto combo. That's the only part that's different. You'll set this up from the ground bounce, and you'll want them about that high. just because you want the link timing. And as you can see, the opponent will start to, you know, get close to the ground as you do each rep. So you want them to start at maximum height, so you can get that whole thing. Then it just proceeds as the bread and butter combo would, where you'll do your OTG with forward special. You will then do the first 2 hits of the heavy. We don't want all the hits to hit because it'll cause them to drop out. And then go into super. And of course we want our full dash before we do our standing light, crouching light, standing medium, standing heavy into our EX series. So those are kind of all of the assorted parts of that combo. So if you've done everything correctly, you'll have something that should look a little like this. And that's what you guys should get. Let's go ahead and move on to our next combo. Alright, let's go ahead and start breaking down this combo off of back throw. So naturally, while we are in the corner, we will start with back throw. After we do back throw, we can actually cancel that into our forward special. After forward special, we want them to be high in the air when we do our standing heavy into ice ball. And as you guys saw through the demonstration, the reason why we need them to be that high is so that we can dash underneath our opponent, do a slight walk backwards so we're actually facing the right direction before we go for that standing medium into crouching medium for our launcher. So once again, demonstrating this part, you see how high they are? You see how high they are? That is what we want, because as you can see, I was able to go under my opponent. And we really need you to do the dash, but just make sure you're actually facing the other way, like back towards this direction. Because if you just do the dash, and you make sure you don't back up, Udonna will still be facing the wrong way, and you won't be able to connect with the opponent. So once again, maximum height, dash underneath, make sure that you are facing this way, and then do your standing medium and the crouching medium. Then you're going to do your jump combo of your staggered air light medium. We'll do that twice. Once again, we'll do another standing medium into crouching medium for the launcher. Staggered air light medium. Once again, facing the corner, and then we will do another re-jump of air light, air medium, and air special. Now, at this point in the combo, we've really used up a lot of hits, so we can't do the loops as much as we would like to when we land back on the ground. After that ground bounce, we'll do a standing medium into standing heavy, and then from there we'll wrap up with the medium auto combo before we go into super.
Magical source, mystic force.
And then once again, just like in all the other combos, if you can do that full dash before you do your standing light, crouching light, standing medium, standing heavy into the EX, then you should be able to do this part of the combo. So the only thing that's really any different that you have to practice with this is just making sure after you do ice pillars, the forward special, making sure they're high enough before you do that standing heavy into ice ball so you can actually dash underneath them, face back towards the other side before you do that standing medium into launcher for this combo. Otherwise, the combo proceeds exactly the same as the other advanced combos that we've done before. So if you've done everything correctly, you should have something that kind of looks like this.
Protect you all.
And that's what you guys should get. Let's go ahead and move on to our next and final combo that I'll be demonstrating in this tutorial video.
Magical source, mystic force.
All right, let's go ahead and start breaking down this combo. So this is going to be your combo conversion from Hail. As you can see, the last hit of Hail, as we talked about with the special move, has a very recognizable ground bounce that will allow you to dash up and get that standing medium into crouching medium. This will be a combo that you can do when you are around about the mid-screen area. This is not a full screen conversion because you need to be in the corner by the time you hit that second launcher so you can actually do the rest of the combo. But just like the other combos that you have seen me do, after you get that ground bounce, you will then be able to dash up, standing medium, crouching medium. We'll do the re-jump series, launcher again, re-jump series. And then, of course, once we do that ground bounce again off the Hail, that will set us up for our loops of standing medium into standing heavy. Then once again, standing medium into standing heavy. Then we'll do crouching light into medium auto combo. So that'll be very similar to the combo that we did off of a raw ice ball. So if you can do that part, you should be able to do this. But just as a refresher, you want to make sure that you're high enough up. I'm going to demonstrate with the air heavy. You want them to be high, just like that. You want them to be nice and high like that, so that we have plenty of time in order to get the rest of the series. Just like that. Now, because we have not used our ice ball, after we do super and then we dash up to do the standing light, crouching light, standing medium series, I actually meant to do ice ball there, but because we have not used our ice ball, we can actually go for the freeze in this situation. So we dash up, we do our standing light, crouching light, standing medium, standing heavy into ice ball. Then we can dash up once again and do our standing light, crouching light, standing medium, standing heavy into EX for that extra damage. So let's try it and do that from super.
Magical source, mystic force.
Dash up again. So that is pretty much what we are working with. So if you have been able to do all the other combos that we've done up to this point, then you should be able to do this combo because none of the parts are going to be any different. Once again, main parts to practice are after you do that ground bounce, whether it be from Hail or heavy, whatever you want to do. Making sure you're doing your links from there. And then of course, after super, making sure you're getting that full dash before you go for your standing light. Ice ball, and then of course, you'll be able to do it again before you go into EX, so you can maximize that damage. So once again, if you've done everything correctly, you should have something that kind of looks like this.
Magical source, mystic force.
And that'll do it for all the combos that I'll be showing you guys in today's video. Let's go ahead and move into Udonna's game plan now. So, for Udonna's game plan, if you have not figured it out by now, Udonna is what I refer to as a mid to long range zoner as her primary play style. I wouldn't say she is the full screen zoner that Mastodon Sentry, Eric, or even Kimmy is, but a lot of the tools that she has in combination with assist, she's very good at littering the screen with projectiles to kind of capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. She is an easily accessible character, she's very beginner friendly and has very practical tools for this. With Udonna, in terms of the way that she conducts herself in the neutral, they're really going to be about one of 4 different things you'll be doing with her. And they are Air Heavy, Ice Ball, Hail, and EX in combination with your Hail, because it actually is a safe option for you if your opponent is actually able to get underneath you. So those would be pretty much the main things that you will be doing with Udonna. I think Udonna fits best as either being a point character or a support character because once again, that Ice Ball is so good at just tripping up your opponent and being able to go ahead and get your other teammates started with combos. And she's also good at setting up your teammates with her orbiting projectiles, her Ice Shield, as well, which can lead to some very tricky mix-ups as well. So Udonna is definitely a valuable character in that way. Now that being said, Udonna, she can actually play the anchor spot as well because she has a lot of safe options. She has very good damage for an easily accessible character. She has very safe options on approach. She just doesn't have like quite the mix-up options that some other characters do. So while she can do everything, I think point or support, being the second slot, are the places where Udonna excels the most. I do once again want to stress her back special, her ice shield. This is a very underutilized tool that she has that I want you guys to be aware of, because it only does that much more in order to help keep stuff on the screen with your assists. So once again, if you can get used to doing ice ball, hail, heavy, and utilizing that back special in combination with assist, I think you'll be doing a great job with Udonna. And that should do it for this character breakdown featuring Udonna. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy what I do here, once again, consider checking out my social media links, and I'll be back at you later with future videos. This is Parker Lad, and I'll see you guys next time.